And one of the issues that we need to problem solve is the fact that existing services, existing agencies are not equipped to care for individuals with high support needs. Frankly, they're ill-equipped to care for people with disabilities in general. And it's not just because of the staffing shortage, which COVID has exacerbated. Folks, there was a staffing shortage before COVID when it came to providing services to people with developmental disabilities. And as with many of the problems with our society, COVID just made it worse. And because everyone was trapped in their houses and they couldn't go anywhere, it became more apparent as more people spoke up about what was happening in their lives. So we have this issue where agencies and programs, group homes are understaffed. There's not enough of them. The people doing like the real boots on the ground, hard work aren't appropriately compensated for the level of care that they're providing. And I don't know how you get to a point where you're providing services to people with developmental disabilities and you don't have the appropriate training to do that. That's a big issue right there. How do you get into the business of serving people with developmental disabilities, but you don't have the training to serve the actual people with developmental disabilities who are trying to access whatever you offer? What are y'all doing?
I would assume a lot of it is an appearance thing. People, so that organizations can say that they're providing this many workers, even if those workers are not adequately trained or experienced, so that they can, I think a lot of these things now are for appearance's sake, for getting people off of their backs more than anything, unfortunately. And that may be a somewhat cynical view, but I really do think that that's one of the factors here, just so that they don't necessarily have to deal with the public consequences.
So you're talking essentially about performative service,
Yes.
rather than actual service, like
Yep.
actually doing things that people need, actually
Exactly.
providing support that people need. Yes, there is a lot of that. And I think a lot of it stems from the value that we place on human lives, particularly the value that we place on the lives of people with disabilities. And we've talked about this before on the podcast, and there is a real concern that decision makers especially do not fully recognize the value and the importance of the lives of people with developmental disabilities. And oftentimes it feels like, oh, we'll throw you some crumbs so that you'll leave us alone.
Exactly, and really only base it on utility to them.